Girma Bèyènè is the kind of artist whose name carries an almost sacred weight among lovers of Ethio-jazz. A composer, arranger and singer whose quiet brilliance has left fingerprints on some of the most hauntingly beautiful music Ethiopia has ever produced. Girma Bèyènè's genius is a quiet storm, the kind that reshapes landscapes with neither thunder nor spectacle, but with a persistence that's impossible to ignore once felt. If art, as we are often reminded, is the mirror of a culture's soul, then Bèyènè is the cracked but luminous reflection of Ethiopia in its most poignant and transitional era. To encounter his music, particularly songs like Alamenem and Bèyènè, is to enter a world where sorrow and joy coexist in a kind of sublime détente, a reminder that the best art rarely offers answers, but instead articulates the unresolvable tension of being. Let us take Alamenem, a piece that could easily serve as the anthem for longing itself. The song unfurls slowly, its melody measured and deliberate, like a memory being sifted through after years of repression. Bèyènè's voice, neither overly polished nor striving for perfection, embodies the kind of vulnerability that lesser performers would avoid in favor of grandiosity. But this is no performance, it is an act of confession. The repeated refrain feels less like a lyric and more like a plea hurled into the void, knowing full well that the void does not answer. To hear Alamenem is to understand that music, at its most profound, does not simply entertain, it reveals. And then there is Bèyènè, a title that asks the eternal question, who am I and for whom do I exist? The song brims with an existentialism that would make Sartre nod approvingly while holding his ever-present cigarette. The arrangement is deceptively simple, weaving Ethiopian scales with an undercurrent of jazz sensibilities, but the result is anything but straightforward. Bèyènè's piano work is restrained yet emotive, creating a canvas on which his voice paints shades of doubt, yearning, and an almost painful clarity. It is a song that is as much about what is unsaid as what is sung, a hallmark of great art that respects the intelligence of its audience. To praise Girma Bèyènè is not merely to celebrate an artist, but to lament the circumstances of a world that often fails to honor its quiet luminaries. His work flourished in an Ethiopia caught in the jaws of modernity and repression, a nation that seemed, much like Bèyènè himself, to be asking, who am I and for whom do I exist? That his music survived the turbulence of the Derg regime and the neglect of an indifferent global music industry is both a testament to its resilience and an indictment of a cultural marketplace that prizes volume over substance. Yet Bèyènè's story, like his songs, resists tidy conclusions. His rediscovery through the Ethiopic series is heartening, but it also underscores the cruelty of an industry that requires foreign validation for what should have been self-evident brilliance. That his name is not more widely known is a tragedy, but it is a tragedy mitigated by the fact that his music remains, waiting patiently for the curious and the fortunate to stumble upon it. In Girma Bèyènè, we find an artist who exemplifies the paradox of the human condition, fleeting yet eternal, fragile yet enduring. If there is any justice in art, and that is a perilous assumption, it is that his music will outlast the trivialities of fame and trend. For Girma Bèyènè does not merely create songs, he constructs a space in which we are invited to sit, reflect, and perhaps understand ourselves a little better. And is that not the highest calling of any artist?